Welcome to Genshu Stories. Before we begin this story, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. It means a lot to us. Daniel Carter had everything. Towering buildings, fleets of luxury cars, private jets waiting on standby. People stood when he walked into rooms. Applause followed his speeches. His phone rang constantly with calls from global CEOs, government officials, and top-tier investors. His family owned Carter Global Enterprises, a multinational empire rooted in tech and real estate. To the world, he was brilliant, powerful, untouchable. But Daniel was exhausted. Behind the prestige was a man worn out by fake smiles, meaningless conversations, and hollow relationships. He was tired of being loved for what he had rather than who he was. His relationships were textbook disasters. Glamorous women who laughed at his jokes even when they weren't funny, clung to his lifestyle, and disappeared when the money wasn't flowing directly into their hands. But none of it compared to what Susan did. Smart, charming, and elegant, or so he thought. He gave her his heart, bought her a ring, planned a future. One morning, arriving at the office earlier than usual, he found her in his executive suite, laughing and kissing his chief financial officer. His world shattered silently. He walked away without a word, canceled the wedding, fired the CFO, and vanished from the public eye. His assistant, Rachel, was the only person who knew he hadn't jetted off to some island retreat. He was home, thinking, hurting, wondering, was I not enough for her? If I had nothing, would anyone choose me? One rainy evening, Daniel stood by the wide glass windows of his mansion as thunder cracked above. Water rolled down the glass like the tears he refused to shed. "I'm going to find out," he whispered to himself. He picked up the phone and called Rachel. "Get me some old clothes. Torn shirt, ripped jeans, worn-out slippers. No designers. No watch. No car." "Sir?" she asked, confused. "I want to look like a man with nothing." She was silent for a moment, then said, "Yes, sir." Daniel Carter, billionaire CEO of Carter Global Enterprises, had made a decision. He would pretend to be a man with nothing, not for a game but to search for truth. He needed to know if real love still existed. Daniel didn't just disappear overnight. That would have attracted suspicion. He took it slow. First, he stopped shaving. His beard grew untamed. Then he dropped the suits. Instead, he wore secondhand shirts, worn jeans, and faded slippers. The luxury watches, the polished leather shoes, the tailored blazers, all locked away. He became invisible by choice. He left the mansion before sunrise. The staff thought he had traveled abroad. Not even his parents, away on a business trip in Europe, knew the truth. He rented a small room in an old neighborhood where concrete was cracked and walls had faded paint. The mattress smelled like old sweat and mildew. The bathroom was barely functional. But Daniel didn't complain. He started working low-end jobs, pushing carts at the market, cleaning warehouses, washing cars on street corners. No one recognized him, and strangely, for the first time in a long while, he felt free. Every evening, he sat on the edge of his creaky bed and stared at the peeling paint. The silence was deafening, but it wasn't lonely. It was honest. Meanwhile, Rachel was setting up a plan. She created anonymous profiles on dating platforms. The setup was always the same. You're meeting a man who used to live well but lost everything during the economic downturn. He's starting over and doing honest manual work. Daniel met each woman in modest places, roadside diners, local food stalls, or quiet parks. No hotels, no gourmet restaurants, no sleek suits or flashy cars. Just him, plain, honest, waiting. The first date was with Lily, a fashion influencer with over 150,000 followers. She arrived in high heels and heavy makeup. When she saw him sitting in a corner of the open-air eatery with a bowl of jollof rice, she hesitated. "You're the guy?" she asked, looking around. He nodded, smiling. "Yes, thanks for coming." She sat, grimacing at the plastic chairs. "I thought this was a prank." "It's a quiet place. The food's great." Lily laughed. "I can't do this." She stood abruptly. "Next time, try dressing like a human being." Not like someone who crawled out of a dustbin. She left. The second woman, Jenna, a lawyer, was different. First, she asked sharp, calculated questions. She brought a notepad. What kind of work do you do now? Daily jobs. Depends on what's available. Where do you live? Any assets left? No. Just a room in a shared building. She never touched her food. She didn't smile. She was analyzing him like a business transaction. After an hour, she stood. I'll call you, she said. She never did. The third, Emily, seemed different. Sweet, soft-spoken. She smiled. Listened. Said she admired men who worked hard. They walked together afterward. She even held his hand. Daniel felt hope. The next morning, her text arrived. Hey love, I don't usually do this, but I'm in a really tight spot. My rent just expired. I haven't eaten. If you can help even with something small, I'd really appreciate it. I believe in us. He stared at the screen. It hadn't been 24 hours. Another illusion shattered. That night, Daniel sat outside his room, watching the moon climb the sky. He didn't move, didn't speak. The world felt colder than ever. The next morning, he called Rachel. I'm done. Daniel, no more dates. No more pretending. I've talked, walked, eaten from plastic plates, and still nothing. I'm just a wallet to them. There was a pause. Then Rachel said quietly, there are still good people in the world. I married one. He blinked. You never told me. We had nothing when we met. We built everything from love. Daniel said nothing. Try one more time, she said. But this time, become nothing for real. Daniel inhaled sharply. Fine. Let's take it all the way. What do you mean? I'll become homeless. Rachel hesitated. Then, okay, I'll help. Rachel arrived the next morning with a duffel bag. Inside were clothes Daniel had never worn in his life. Torn shirts, faded jeans, an old hoodie with unraveling threads, and a pair of worn-out slippers. She also handed him a dirty sack. It looked like something used to carry scraps. Daniel changed clothes in the bathroom of a rundown gas station. He looked into the mirror. Even he didn't recognize himself. The face that once graced Forbes and Bloomberg now belonged to a man society would step over on the street. He slipped a folded check inside his shirt, signed, sealed, and ready. Amount, $5 million. It would go to the first woman who showed him kindness for no reason. Not because she thought he had potential, not because of pity, not for attention. Just genuine care. He set out. Daniel roamed bus parks, market stalls, alleyways near shopping centers. He sat on sidewalks, leaned against wooden stalls, stood by overpasses. The sun beat down. Dust clung to his skin. Sweat rolled down his neck. People walked past, some with glances, most with disgust. Some ignored him completely. A woman once tossed bread at him like he was an animal. Another posed for a selfie with him, smiling sweetly and captioning it later. Helping the needy vibes, #blessed. She didn't offer a thing, just needed the likes. One girl knelt beside him, cupped her hands in prayer, and asked God to bless this helpless soul. Then she walked away. Daniel sat still, stunned. No one saw him. Not really. They saw a concept. Poverty. They saw an idea, not a human. The days blurred. Then, on the fifth day, clouds gathered. Rain came down in sheets. Cold, hard, relentless. Daniel huddled under a tiny zinc shade outside a tailor's wooden shed. His clothes were soaked. His shoes squished when he moved. He shivered. That's when she appeared. She was crossing the road, balancing an umbrella and a nylon bag. She wore a lilac blouse, plain black trousers, and plastic slippers. Her hair was tucked into a scarf. She stopped, looked at him. You're getting wet, she said gently. Daniel looked up. She had no camera, no audience, just genuine eyes. She reached into her bag, pulled out a plastic container. It's rice and beans, she said. I cooked it for myself, but you look like you need it more. She handed it to him with both hands. Then she looked at the ground, removed her wrapper, and placed it over his shoulders. This one is dry, she said. You'll catch a cold like this. Daniel stared. I'm Claire, she said, smiling. I teach nursery school and sew clothes in the evening. I'm Daniel, just trying to survive. She nodded. That's okay. Life is hard. But kindness isn't. She didn't ask for his story. She didn't offer advice. She didn't suggest a YouTube channel or a GoFundMe. She just helped. Come to my shop, she said. It's dry inside. You can stay till the rain passes. He followed. That night, Daniel drank warm tea and sat beside a sewing machine, listening to the rain. Claire worked on a dress order. She didn't speak much, but every now and then, she smiled at him. And that was enough. Over the next few days, Daniel helped Claire in the shop. He swept, cleaned, and folded fabric. He learned to thread needles and cut cloth. He even ran deliveries. The customers smiled at him, not knowing he once ran billion-dollar deals. Each evening, Claire returned from school with tired eyes and a soft smile. They sat together, ate simple meals, and talked about life. One night, as they packed away fabric, Daniel joked, "You know, I might actually be a billionaire in hiding." Claire giggled. Well, rich or poor, a kind man is still a treasure. Daniel's heart thudded. She wasn't joking. She wasn't testing him. She meant it. Later that week, she made a request. My mom is turning 50 this weekend. Big party. The family will be there. My sister's bringing her new fiancé. I'm expected to bring someone too. Daniel raised a brow. You want me to come? Just pretend. As my fiancé. You're the only person I trust not to make it worse. He nodded slowly. All right, I'll come. They traveled to her hometown. The compound was alive with music, smoke from jollof rice pots, and laughter. Her older sister, Brenda, eyed Daniel's plain clothes. This is him. Claire smiled. Yes, this is Daniel. Brenda snorted. Doesn't even look like he owns a bicycle. Daniel said nothing. He wasn't there to prove anything. Later, an ex-boyfriend named Matt showed up. Arrogant, flashy, wearing a branded shirt from Carter Global, though he no longer worked there. When Claire introduced Daniel, Matt laughed. This guy? Come on, Claire. I expected at least a banker. Dinner was tense. Brenda whispered loudly. Aunties gossiped. Matt bragged. Then came the big moment. A courier arrived with a box and a red envelope. Delivery for the mother of Miss Claire. Inside the box, keys to a brand new SUV. Brenda screamed. Oh my God. Matt, you didn't. Matt bowed theatrically. Of course I did. Just wanted to bless the family. Applause. Daniel stood back. Calm. Silent. Then Rachel appeared from the crowd. Actually, she said, holding out a document. This vehicle was purchased by Mr. Daniel Carter. Personal assistant's signature. Paid in full. Gasped. Matt's smile died. Brenda stammered. Wait, Carter? As in, Carter Global. Daniel stepped forward. Yes, that Carter. He turned to Claire. You saw me. When I had nothing. You cared, not knowing who I was. That's why I'm here. He knelt. Claire, will you marry me? Claire froze. The courtyard held its breath. Then tears welled in her eyes. Yes, she whispered. Yes, Daniel. 1,000 times yes. Cheers. Applause. Brenda blinked rapidly. Matt vanished into the crowd. Daniel slipped the ring on her finger. He didn't need a stage or spotlight. He had everything he ever wanted, right there. Back in the city, Claire stood with him on the balcony of his mansion. The skyline sparkled below. So this is your real life? She asked. Yes, Daniel said. But the life I want to build is with you. She smiled. Then let's build it together. The mansion no longer echoed with emptiness. The lights no longer felt cold. Daniel Carter, who once feared love had died in the world, finally knew. True love exists. You just have to look beyond the gold. And that's how Daniel Carter found love. Not through his fortune, but through honesty, humility, and one woman's kindness. In a world where wealth often hides the truth, he discovered something priceless. A heart that saw him for who he really was. Do you believe true love like this still exists? Let us know in the comments. If this story moved you, don't forget to like the video. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a powerful story like this. Share this with someone who still believes in real love. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.